Peace and blessings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first guest of the Prolific Perspectives podcast. I had the honor of meeting this brother last Friday at a networking event down in downtown Tampa in Channelside. And we chopped it up, man, for a brief few minutes. And it's kind of like we knew each other for about 5-10 years, which is crazy. But the brother is doing his thing, in real estate. Started out as a lender and now has kind of crossed over and is doing his thing in residential and commercial real estate. Brother Jeremy is the branch manager of J7J Financial. And the list goes on and on and on. The brother's resume is impeccable with well over 2 decades in the real estate industry. So,
Ooh, filthy.
Brother Jeremy, man, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us, man. So, just for the folks who are gonna be checking out this interview and this podcast, can you kind of just share a little bit about how you got into the real estate industry?
Yeah, man, Dre, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on here. Pleasure to be one of your first guests, so I'm honored.
Appreciate
Yeah, man, I've been in real estate for the greater part of 20 years. I'm in my 19th year. It's funny that time flies so fast. I started in 2004 off of a open house career fair. And I literally, got an interview at Ameriquest Mortgage Company in 2004 as a account executive, working mostly in-house, taking leads from the company, doing refis, purchases as they come, but mostly outbound calling people as if it was, the white pages, and getting my clients that way. So a long time from doing that, I am now, self-employed. I create my own business. I do my own marketing. Word of mouth, referrals, realtor clients, everywhere and everywhere. I get most of my business. So it's all about really just, marketing yourself, believing in yourself, and, using what you learned along the way to help build a solid business and good business practices to keep people coming back.
Right. That's what's up. One thing you said, it's funny, I created some content today about relationships. Relationships is huge. I think in any industry for that matter, but I think in business it's definitely a big deal to have, strong relationships. And I think based off of like what we were talking about just now about the networking event, I think I want to say I connected with, besides you, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 other brothers and sisters who I'm gonna definitely reach out to, and just kind of chop it up and build with too, like you said, build that relationship. And one of the brothers, I want to say his name was Keith. He was saying that he was a member of the NAREB association as well. He said it's a powerful organization. Can you share a little bit about that organization too? About what it
Yes, sir.
is?
Yes, sir. That was Mr. Keith Daniels. He's, one of our board members, along with myself, and
Okay.
that is the number one, and I believe the oldest real estate organization geared toward African American home ownership in the country. It started in 1947. National Association of Real Estate Brokers is the only organization that's committed to democracy in housing, affordable housing, especially for the African American community. It was started, by and with Martin Luther King back in 1968 when he did, the March on Washington. Affordable housing was a key part of that speech that he made before his passing. So NAREB is the oldest organization, again, for, especially colored real estate brokers, professionals that want to see, the African American community get a leg up in the housing industry, because it is the staple of, generating wealth and, building a solid foundation for yourself. So that's where, I wanted to make sure I was a member of that and wanted to give all my time and be associated with that type of organization, because it means so much.
Absolutely, that's powerful, brother. I didn't know Dr. King was involved with it. I never heard of it until I met Brother Keith at the event. So that's powerful. How how would a brother or sister who's not familiar with the organization, like how would they be able to find more information on it or to be able to join the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to narebtampa.com. That is our website, narebtampa.com. We have a local chapter here. We meet every second Thursday of the month at the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors off of Kennedy Boulevard here in Tampa. And, just come out. We have happy hours, we have get togethers, we have an annual conference, we have a winter conference. So we have all kinds of activities that go on throughout the year. In fact, this week is Realtist Week. And so it's all about, as a real estate, professional, being out in the community and giving back, spreading the word of NAREB, spreading the word of affordable housing, spreading the word of housing and democracy, spreading the word of getting out into the real estate industry and being a professional and perpetuating, black excellence as someone in this industry. So it's all about just getting us out there involved and knowing that there's more professions out there and a lot more room in the real estate industry to be successful.
That's dope. That's what's up, man. So what about people who want to get into real estate who haven't quite made that jump or made that leap just yet? Would they be able to come and be a member of the organization as well, or do you have to already be a realtor or a mortgage broker or in the industry to join?
No, absolutely. We have some mentorships. We welcome everyone actually to come in and get an introduction, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned professional. We have
Okay.
the Heart of Florida Real Estate School that is headed up by Cynthia Brooks, and she knows, she holds the classes on the education on how to be a real estate agent, how to be a broker. So, if you don't have your license, you can come in, you can get your license, and just, literally just sign up for her class and get you on the right track. So we have everything for everyone. And, excuse me, it's Cynthia Givens. I apologize. I blacked out there. Cynthia Givens with Heart of Florida School of Real Estate. So yeah, everyone's welcome. Come out, check us out on the website. Come out to a conference, get to know us, and build your network.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I like that, man. Is this a nationwide organization or is it just isolated to the Bay Area?
No, sir. It is a nationwide organization. We got chapters all over the country. Several here in Florida as well. So you'll be able to tap into anyone in NAREB, even if you go out of town. And you may see somebody. It's definitely like a fraternity, sorority, if you will, of real estate professionals.
Gotcha. That's what's up. So now with the lender side of real estate, because you said you've been doing that for a while. For somebody who wants to be a new investor into real estate, right? What would be kind of like the prerequisites financially, or maybe the credit score, or like what do you look at, or how would you advise somebody who wants to be an investor and wants to get into real estate, but they may not have a ton of capital, or they may have capital but may not have experience at real estate? Like, how would you advise or kind of coach somebody up into getting into the investor side of real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. There's several different ways to get into the mix as an investor. It depends on what side of the coin you on, if you will. Like if you have some capital, then it's just a matter of how you're utilizing that capital and getting in. I wouldn't. First and foremost, I would say as an investor, I would form an LLC or a business to kind of shelter your personal assets away from your business ventures as an investor. And so that would be the first thing I would say. So form an LLC, get that going, and then the second part would be understand, what part of the real estate game you want to get into. Not everything is for everyone. So not everyone's a fix and flipper. Not everyone's a property manager. Not everyone is a cash flow consultant or a cash flow investor or landlord that wants to keep a bunch of things under the portfolio. So think about what aspect of real estate interests you and keeps you intrigued to know how you want to get into the game. And then that way we'll have a better aspect on how you can get in and get your toes wet. The great thing about real estate is that it's so universal. You know what I mean? You don't. There's a lot of risk that can be averted because everyone is in real estate, especially within close circles of people that you know, like, and trust. And so if you know how you want to get into it, there's going to be advisors or people along the way that you can kind of bounce things off and make sure you're making the right steps before you dive right in and use your capital towards something that may be a little bit too risky for your experience level.
Got you. I like that. Now, with the from the lending aspect, um, me from being in the consulting industry with in terms of business, right? I know a lot of times lenders, as far as traditional banks, they don't like to lend large lump sums of money to brand new businesses, brand new LLCs. They typically like to see LLCs for 2 years or older before they'll be able to kind of like establish them as being a verified or solidified prospect for lending. So how would someone who starts a new LLC, how would they look to a person like you, like from the lending aspect? Is there any like requirements that they would need in order to qualify for lending to invest, or how would that work for a new
No,
LLC?
absolutely not. I mean, as a bank, they have different loan programs based on the occupancy, and different
Gotcha.
requirements based on that. So even as a new investor, say you own a home, and everyone at some point is a first time home buyer, and then eventually you buy your second home, and all of a sudden you're an investor, right? So
Right.
there's all kinds of different ways that you can get into it. But from a bank perspective, if you want to buy your second home, or you're new into the investing side of real estate, you can always buy a second home. The minimum down payment is about 10% of the purchase price to get in. And then, that's one way to get into the second home. The third home aspect of it is a investment property mortgage, which the minimum down payment for something like that would be about 15 to 20 to 25%, depending on the property type. So, 15% for a single family residence, all the way up to about 25% for a condominium. It really just depends. But those are the minimum down payments you're looking at. And then you're going to be averaging about 3 to 4.5% in closing costs on top of that. So that'll be the total cost for the purchasing of that property. And so after that point, during that progression, during that journey, you should definitely form an LLC to start gaining the experience that you're lacking in the very beginning.
Right.
And by the time you're ready for your third or fourth property, you should absolutely be able to get a loan in the business name off of the business credit, or off of the strength of how long the business has been in business.
Got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, so with the so for example, let's say a person who doesn't have a primary residence, right, but they want to buy an investment property. How would they come into the game as an investor? Would they have to put the 20% down on that first property, or are there programs for like first time investors who don't have a primary home or they might have a primary home that's paid off? Like, how would they get into the investment side in terms of like the percentages of the down payment and the closing costs, etc.?
Absolutely. No, great question. So as a lender, you have all kinds of different boxes that you have. You
Okay.
have your prime box for clients that, have the traditional 20% down. They have the solid, job history and all that, solid credit and all that good stuff. And then you have a B box for maybe first-time home buyers that maybe have the down payment amount, but they don't have any other funds. Maybe they need help on one side of the transaction or one or another, or they don't have a strong credit score. And then you have a C box, which is for outside of the box, outside of those two boxes type of clients where, maybe, someone has a blemish on their credit, or maybe they don't fit into the box of being a first-time home buyer or a traditional credit or a traditional home buyer as a first-time home buyer. So the C box is where you do your non-conforming loan programs. And I think that's what the last example you gave me is talking about. So let's just say you're a first-time home buyer, but you don't want to buy a house, you want to buy an investment property. Well, that's perfectly fine, but most banks aren't going to give you that loan, right? And if you do, they're going to pretty much go through your file with a fine-tooth comb. As a non-conforming lender, they're going to look at, number one, do you have the capital to buy this property? Do you have the down payment and the closing costs to buy this home? That's number one. And then they're going to have programs that's going to allow you to get into the home based on that alone, or if you do a loan off of the amount of time that your business has been established, and just do a small down payment or a debt service coverage ratio loan based on the amount of assets you have in the bank. Asset depletion. If you have money, if you have liquid, there's a place for you if you want to buy that. If you want to get that type of loan, you have to be serious though, because that's short-term financing, and the terms aren't as good as those other two boxes we talked about. You know what I'm saying? So the cash flow and the execution of the plan to achieve that property has to be in sync in order to make sure you don't default on that type of loan program.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you'll be kind of pushed over more so to like a hard money lender. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Or,
Exactly.
okay, I got you. Okay, cool. So now, one thing I'm not sure if you've heard a lot about this, but what about fintech banks? Are you familiar with the fintech banking system that's emerging, kind of like it's not really crypto, but it's like banks who are more so they'll lend based off of whatever assets that you can verify. So, for example, I know with business, say, for example, if I got a coaching client or consulting clients in business and they don't have any business credit, their personal credit is kind of trash, but they're generating 25, 30, 40, $50,000 a month in revenue, they would then qualify for a fintech loan or a fintech, line of credit based off of the revenue that's coming in and out of their bank account on a monthly basis. So is that something that is in the real estate industry as well, or how, no?
That's exactly a perfect example of a non-conforming bank.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's exactly the type of things that they're going to look for in terms of being able to assure you a loan. And cash flow is definitely one of them. We're going to look at the cash flow in the bank account for the business, and we're going to get an average. We're going to get a level of stability of that, and we're going to base a loan based on that, 100%.
Cool. That's what's up. So yeah, so for those who don't have the credit or who don't have a primary home, who don't want it, you can still get the bag based off of your business cash flow. That's dope. So now with the let's talk about the commercial side of real estate. That's something that I've kind of studied and researched for a few years, but I don't have a whole lot of information on that, man. But I know you're doing your thing in that. How did you get into that part of it? And then I kind of want to run back a few questions that are similar in terms of people who want to get into commercial real estate, because I know there's a lot of dough in that. I was speaking to some brothers that was at the event Friday, and they got like a builders group. I think it's like 5 or 6 of them. They sound like they're doing their thing, man. They're trying to bid on I want to say a project in St. Pete right now that they're trying to put together, like for an apartment complex or a condo complex that they're trying to build. But so how did you get into the commercial side, and then kind of like, if you can, just share some of the pros and cons on the commercial side of real estate? Or
Yeah, man. I mean, the commercial side was always something I wanted to do because, through my sales progression in life, I first started selling. My first sales job was selling meat over the phone for a meat company. So it was Colorado Prime Meats. They used to have the trucks around the neighborhood with the meats in them. Well, I used to set up those appointments over the phone. So my whole sales career has been about increasing my price point. Okay. So now I'm at a price point where I sell and I do mortgages for residential real estate, but there's a higher level price point in the commercial, and so that's where that intrigued me more than anything. But I didn't know anyone that was in that space. You know what I'm saying? Like no one that looked like me at least was in that space at all. So I was like, well, if Jack can do it, why can't I do it? You know what I'm saying? If Tim can do it, why can't I do it? So I just, I've always been a student, man. I always like learning new things and challenging myself to, to go above and beyond and, just reach my highest potential. And so, I decided to take the real estate exam and focus completely on the commercial side of things. And it's not a hard transition when you've been dealing with the transaction on the residential side. The customer service and the client services and representation is still the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just a different product and a different aspect about getting the wants and needs of the two parties established. But once you can figure that out, you can thrive, and you can be selling a higher price point product to help feed you and your family. And so that's exactly how I got into the commercial game. And so at this point right now, man, I'm trying to expand. I've got a franchise business opening up here in Brandon called iSmash. They host smash rooms, paint rooms, and axe throwing lanes. It's just like a big playhouse, and so we're going to be opening up in about a month and a half in June. It'll be the first Smash House, and hopefully the first of many to come. So 7J Commercial is the exclusive real estate agency on that one, and so look out for that. That's going to be big, man. And we just want to keep growing up from there. But that is something. The commercial side of things is a game changer when it comes to us and being able to own the means of production. You know what I'm saying? We can be workers and we can bust our butt all day, but if you own the building, you know what I'm saying, and you're the landlord instead of the tenant, that's where things change. Yeah.
That's power. Yes, sir. That's dope,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Congratulations on that too, bro. Now, is this for adults or for kids or all ages?
Oh yeah,
This man.
all ages,
Okay.
corporate events, birthdays, all that.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out when y'all open up, man. And to see us getting into that side and maximizing, you know what I'm saying, the opportunity of owning commercial real estate. That's powerful.
That's what's up, man. I look
Yes,
I, I
sir.
look forward to it, and you do it here in Tampa, man. I mean, I grew up in Tampa, and it's crazy to see how the city is just blowing up. And you lived here so long, you want to be part of that expansion and part of that growth.
Absolutely.
Um, you hate to see some of these neighborhoods getting gentrified and affordable housing being such a key
Right.
element for disenfranchised people right now.
Right.
You know, it's definitely something that as an owner of the means of production, you can do something about that
Right.
to help stem that.
Absolutely, and I think that's one thing I love. Just reading the bio and the resume about how much that you give back and how many different organizations that you're involved with to give back. And I feel like that's a part of my heart too, man, because I feel like we don't necessarily have the same level playing field as everybody else in terms of creating wealth or in terms of creating financial freedom, in terms of having time and financial freedom. And I feel like that has a major role in a lot of the ways that we are not willing or able to work with each other, because if you see one dude who's doing his thing and he got it, a lot of people can't look at that as motivation and inspiration to want to ask him or chop it up and like, hey, how did you get there? Or, you mind sharing a little bit of insight and knowledge with me on how to do that? Most of us would look at them and look at them like it's a problem and, be upset because they made it, but not be willing to ask or even work towards getting to that level. But I feel like we got enough of us who are willing to do what we're doing and put the knowledge and put the information out there to help a lot of us to get up, and come up. I think it'll really help us as a whole, man, as a collective. And that's what it really takes, because economics and financial freedom and wealth building is one of the major cornerstones for us to really make a shift in terms of some of the things that we're seeing in our environment and some of the things we're seeing, in our communities.
Absolutely, man. And you said it with the level of inclusion and cooperation amongst us. Even just a certain level, because before you're starting at the bottom. Any little thing helps, and so
Right.
that's a further conversation about resources and the lack thereof, and
Right.
access to them. But I think things are getting better, and especially with organizations like NARAB, and the Black Chamber of Commerce, and organizations like that, we get to spend a little bit more time again with one another, get to know each other, be able to talk about things and be able to facilitate trade. like they did back in the day, a little bit more easy. And I think that's
Absolutely.
what it's all about, man. Especially if you've got more reaches and more things to go around, more
Right.
ideas to go around. It's not really about, who's got what. It's just all about how you execute your plan. You know.
Right. Facts. That's real. Yeah, it took all the X-Men to get together, man, to make the revolution. So that's what it's going to take. That's dope, man. So now, what about with the climate of the market? Like, the market is crazy in the Bay Area. I'm
It
looking at
is.
different areas to invest in or buy property. For example, Memphis, I can get about 4 or 5 homes for the price of one, 3 bedroom, 2 bath home here in the Bay Area. Is there going to be any change or any shift in terms of the pricing of the housing market? I know it's slowed down a little bit. I know that houses aren't going off the market as fast as they were, a year or two ago. But in terms of like the actual, I guess, is there going to be like a shift in the market to make it more affordable for people who aren't making $100,000 a year? Because most people, I feel like if you're not making over $100,000 a year, I don't know if you can truly afford to buy a home in the Tampa Bay area. And even then, it
Yeah.
might be a little tough, for real.
No, you
You
said it
know?
right there, man. And I wish I had better news for you, but I'm afraid not, my friend,
Wow.
because of the demand being so high still.
Right.
Um, there's so many uh, people that want to move here and that are moving here
Right.
because of all the benefits that that our area has to afford. And so, it's only going to get harder, unfortunately, for people to get housing. And so that's why we need, we need to advocate for more affordable housing. We need to advocate for more, you know, uh, more more say at the ballot box, so we can keep some of
Right.
the areas that are for us,
Right.
built for us, and be able to upgrade those areas as well. And
Right. Right.
so, we just have to get our money up, is what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I'm so heavy on pushing for business ownership, and starting and owning businesses, because even just having a business, like we were talking about earlier, if you have even a halfway decent credit score of 700, or better, you can qualify for 100,000 or a couple 100,000 for, business, grants or funding or what have you, just by, being in a position to kind of personal guarantee it from your personal side. And that's one thing I'm going heavy on, is like just trying to really put that information out there to people, like, yo, we can really get to the bag as long as we just start with, figuring out how to be able to leverage our credit. Even if you don't have the capital, just get your credit up and then leverage your credit to get the capital and then get the business popping. And then it's like Pandora's box just opens up to you, because at that point, once you have a business, like you said, that's cash flowing and you build the business credit, we talking about you can get 500, three quarters of $1 million worth of, credit and funding to really position yourself to take off and take it to the next level. And I think that's one of the things that we really have to push in terms of education, is letting us know that it is possible. We just got to be disciplined and focused to do the work, the foundation, fundamental work to get to position ourselves to get to that point.
1,000%, man. And you just got to be able to have a bigger bully pulpit to get the word out too. You know,
Right,
um, we just be able to get the word out, because a lot of people don't even know what resources are available to them.
right,
Um, you know, so sometimes you can feel a little bit hopeless if you're struggling, but
right.
that's what I'm here to do, man. And just when you reached out to me about the podcast and what you wanted to do, I definitely wanted to chop it up with you and see what you're about, so we can further get the message out. And mediums like this
Right.
is like the normal medium now. It's like it's the up and coming way to to hear and see and get the message out to the people. So I appreciate everything you're doing with this, man. It's definitely it's different.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, brother, for sure. We definitely got a lot of work to do. With the residential housing market, what with it being where it's at now, and let's just say we got a married couple, 24, 25 years old, just got out of college. Both of them were able to secure, a pretty decent job, making, let's say, $100,000 a year. But yet the housing, still looking at, for a 4 bedroom, we're looking at what, about 400,000 easy, four plus maybe,
Yeah,
for a four
easy.
bedroom home. But they want to have 2 children. What is the, I would say, I would ask, what is the average medium annual income that it would take for a family to be able to affordably purchase a home in the Tampa Bay area without overextending themselves, and to be able to, be able to be able to afford that home, without putting themselves underwater or going too far into debt.
Wow, man, that's a great question. You know, Dre, the answer to that question probably about a year ago was, maybe year and a half ago was probably about $60,000 a year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now it's easily, close to the low 80,000 at least.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because of inflation, because of interest rates, um, because of just the burden of um, being able to save money. You see what I'm saying? Like it's very
Yeah.
hard to just be able to save money, much less go check to check and pay all your bills and make
Right.
sure everything stays on. But
Right.
being able to save a certain amount of money so you can afford that down payment, even if it's only 3 or 5%, on a $400,000 house is $12,000. You
Right.
know, that's
Right.
12 to 20 grand. That's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
So yeah, man. I mean, you gotta be close to making close to six figures in order to be just a family of four to have a four-bedroom house in this market to be able to make it. Thankfully, there are programs out there that will help people, at least get the down payment so they can, get into the house and have some help getting in there. You've got Florida Housing, um, which is ehousingplus.com. You've got the Home Sweet Home program. They're giving away $25,000 right now. You've
Hmm.
got the Florida Bond program that offers $10,000 in assistance to any county in the state of Florida for a first-time home buyer. You got the Hometown Heroes program that helps our veterans, our police officers, our nurses, our teachers get into a house. They offer up to 5% of the loan amount toward assistance and down payment. Um, you got all kinds of programs out there. So you got the city of Tampa, their program as well. There's a lot of programs. You just gotta be able to get the word out and get people to sign up and register for the courses that are available, and
Hmm.
see if we can help them out. But it's a very difficult in this market right now to get a house, to get some housing for just a standard couple coming out of college or whatnot. Maybe got a couple kids for the four-bedroom house. To buy a $400 to $500,000 house as your first house, that's a pretty daunting task.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was coming up, which is I don't want to put no age on me, but about 20 years ago, it was about 250,000, and I thought
Yeah.
that was a big. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When I heard that number, I was like, woo.
Yeah. No, I know. It's funny. I bought my first house in '07, and I'll never
Mm,
forget it, man. It was like one of the craziest things ever. I bought it '07. It was a foreclosure, a bank-owned property. Got a sweet deal, man. Got it for 160. It appraised at like 255. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to go ahead and chill, get me an equity line, go buy me like two or three rentals, and then boom, when the market the market crashed, and I was like, wow, like it threw
just
my
like that.
whole plan like right out the window, man. It was crazy. And so it's like, but just to see how that same house, what, in '07, you talking about, what, give or take almost 20 years ago, about what,
Mm,
14 years ago, was, I think appraised at let's even say at the high appraisal, 255. It was a four bed, two bath, 2,000 square feet. That same home now, you talking about what, 400,000, right? Four or
yeah,
500,000 for a four bed, two bath? Uh,
yeah,
Unbelievable. So it's literally doubled in a matter of what,
yeah.
14 years. That's crazy.
It's
That's crazy.
insane.
So the clip with I mean just the last few minutes we was dropping the jewels about all the programs. That's gonna be a clip within itself. I'm gonna make sure that I share that by itself because I know I've never heard of. I don't think any of those programs. I'm if it's that hard for a couple making over six figures. I'm trying to think. What about the mothers? We got single moms out here who got two, three children that need a three bed, four bed house. Like, what is there any kind of I don't know, like special like programs or anything that can help those, that population, like the single mothers who have, multiple children who want a house, but, it's just them. They don't have two incomes and they're trying to, do their best. Is there anything out there for that population or demographic?
Yeah, man. I mean, I would Habitat for Humanity, Hillsborough
Okay.
County. I mean,
Gotcha.
they have an incredible program. It's called Women's Build, and they
Okay.
do it every year, where they first of all, Habitat for Humanity is a non-profit organization. If you ever heard of them, that's
I have.
dedicated to housing. Um, and they have an initiative for a lot of people, but especially for single women, households with children that need some help and a leg up in housing. They dedicate the Women's Build initiative every single year to the building of a house for a single mom to basically get an affordable mortgage.
Mm,
Essentially, they're just paying the taxes and the insurance on the property, and everything else is taken care of. And they pay for that through sweat equity. They
right.
help build the house. They put in community hours toward other houses for other people,
Mm,
and I think that's the best initiative. It happens every year in
mm,
February. Look out for that. Habitat for Humanity, Hillsborough County,
okay.
um, and that is one of the organizations that you know that just that's rewarding for me.
Right.
That I don't get paid for having any association with them. I'm the chairman of the fundraising committee, but outside of that, they allow me to participate and give my time whenever I can to their cause. So those that's just one of the initiatives that I know of. But
Right.
we definitely could use more.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. Even just listening to you speak about that, I could feel the passion, and the response, and it's because it's tough, and I know plenty of people who need help. I know plenty, and just listening to the answer and the response, that kind of while you were speaking, it inspired me to do something. Even it's something maybe as small as giving away a mentorship for free to a single mom to kind of help start a business or help fix her credit or help get funding to position her. You know what I'm saying, to make some type of impact for her and her children, because that it's crazy, and like I said, it's a whole nother conversation, but there's so many different areas of needs that we have, to fill and to be able to try to build up off of in our community. But I feel like we're definitely doing the right thing. We're on the right track now with conversations like this, and then the organizations that we're a part of, and then the ones that you're sitting on the board of, and then the ones that I'm taking the time to look into to join as well, just to figure out different ways to make an impact, man. Impact over. I feel like impact over popularity is something that a lot of us can really help bridge that gap and help our people get on the right track, man. So that's powerful. Real quick, before we close out, what about the? I know we were speaking about the auctions list and the like the foreclosures list. Like, how would people get access to finding information about properties like that? Who want, like I said, who want to get into the investor side, but may not have a LLC set up, but might have some capital to jump on a rental property that they can get a sweet deal on. How would you recommend those types of aspiring investors to get into that side of the game?
Yeah, they can go to my website 7jcommercial.com. They can search for the properties there, any ones that they want. If they want a customized funnel of properties to be sent to them, they can email me at jeremy@7jcommercial.com, and those are updated daily. So they're all out there. It's just a matter of the timing and getting in.
Right. And so these are auction properties and foreclosures or bank loan properties on this list?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
They're available all the time. So
wow.
bank owned, short sale, auction properties, foreclosures, they're available. They're ready to be auctioned off on. Tax certificates as well. Those are all available. So yeah, man. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of, again, those need those are properties that need proof of funds in order to get the information on them to be able to bid on
right,
them. But if you
right.
have the capital but you don't know how to get in, then that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm your consultant. So Holla at me, Jeremy at 7jcommercial.com.
That's dope. Now, for those, do you guys offer lending on those properties, or are they just straight cash properties? The ones that you're talking about, like
No, I mean those. If you're talking about auctions, you gotta have cash. I mean,
got you. Okay,
yeah, they want the liquid cash. If you have fast funding, I'm sure that's not a problem. But
got you.
if you're getting financing, you gotta have your financing already in place.
I got you. What
Um,
about the? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no,
I
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. So what about the short sales and the foreclosures
Yeah,
and the tax?
yeah, we can offer financing for those properties because those
Wow.
properties are going to take, this could take a little negotiation with the bank to agree on a price, right?
Okay.
So while we do that, they'll definitely enter into a contract with you and give us the 30 days that we need to settle up on a mortgage.
That's what's up. What are the like the requirements or the prerequisites for someone to be a valid candidate to jump on one of those deals or some of those deals?
Really, if you need financing, you're going to need at least a 620 credit score.
Hmm.
If you have an LLC, then the LLC in business for at least 2 to 3 years. If you
Hmm.
don't have an LLC, then we're going to need, personal bank statements for the last 12 months to see what your cash flow is,
Got you.
and assets. You're going to need to have at least 3 to 6 months of cash reserves in the bank and enough assets for escrow for closing. So those are all available to you. Um, all those financing options are available to you. It's just a
Okay.
matter of putting the right mortgage and package together for the right property.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. I know the time's getting short, but man, I definitely want to tell you I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you taking the time, out of your day. I know you got a lot going on, so I definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come in and just chop it up and drop a lot of jewels, man, and share a lot of powerful information with the people, and just share as much as we can. And so I definitely salute you and appreciate you taking the time, brother. I really do, man.
I appreciate it, Andre, man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to be up on here. And yeah, man, let's keep building and let's keep in touch. And I'll see you at the next event.
Absolutely, absolutely, and hopefully my schedule permits. I want to be there for the grand opening too, man. When you open the building, for sure.
I will
Bring my
let you
son
know
out
for
there.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. We'll come out and support.
That's
That's
what's
what's up.
up.
All right,
I appreciate
all
it.
right, bro. So I'll definitely holler at you off air, man. I'll be in touch for sure, man. I appreciate you.
That's what's up, brother. Have a good one.
All right, yes, sir. All right, peace.